While all political parties in Parliament are against the proposed VAT hike, they have very different ideas on how the budget should be implemented. Now, following the adoption of the 2025 Fiscal Framework, the parties weighed in on the vote.
I'm happy because Parliament has finally taken a decision to vote for the budget, which is in the interest of the country. It is not in the interest of any political party. This is a budget for the people of South Africa. And what I want to assure the people of South Africa is that the Standing Committee on Finance, which I'm the chairperson, has processed the budget in terms of the constitutional provision, in terms of the law, which is the Money Bills and Related Matters Act, and in terms of the rules of the National Assembly.
Yeah, we did not get what we wanted, but we believe that the process today was flawed because what brought us here is actually a deception, where they managed to get the Action SA to say that this impose a condition that defers the decision for 30 days. In terms of the Money Bills Amendment Act, there is no such thing. What ought to have happened is we either accept or amend.
I want to reiterate that this budget is a budget against the people of this country, against the people of this country who are unable to put food on the table for themselves and their families, who cannot afford to buy school shoes, who cannot afford to basically breathe altogether. And the kingmakers in today's decision was Action SA. Action SA sold South Africans to the highest bidder.
Well, the budget is governed by a money bill, and the Money Bill Act was not followed to the latter, to an extent that the Finance Committee had two roles to play: to adopt the fiscal framework and budget proposal, or to amend. And neither of the two happened. The 8.84 of the Money Bill dictates that you should be able to say, as a committee, we adopt the fiscal framework and budget proposal. That did not happen.
We supported the budget today because we are of the view this is the best way to go. If you consider the aspects of the budget, more allocation was given to infrastructure, which will create job opportunities. More money was given to health and education. That will create job opportunities, and the doctors and teachers and nurses will be employed, will be serving the poorest of the poor.
We're very pleased that our recommendation to the ANC was that they must go and find additional revenue, and the best place to do that is through the South African Revenue Services. They showed that in the last fiscal year, they raised 1.855 trillion rand, which is 8.8 billion rand more than they expected, and 114 billion rand more than they did the year before. So they've said that there's 800 billion rand that they can find that has been declared 400 and 400 undeclared. And we said to the finance minister, give them the money they need to go and get that money.
We are disappointed with the vote at the end of the day today, and the fact that Parliament didn't use its powers that we have. The population of South Africa have rejected this VAT increase, and we could have insisted that it was removed. But it went through, and we've also pointed out that the challenge we have as the SACP is that the economic growth projections are high at 1.9%, not high enough, but how realistic is that, given that it was only 0.6% last year?
It's easy for people to people to make noise and say, don't increase VAT. Of course, even our party doesn't want us to increase VAT, but what are the alternatives? Don't increase corporate income tax. You must not engage in bracket creep. Don't increase indirect taxes. And yes, there's a revenue shortfall in the country. The economy is not going to grow tomorrow or next month or next week for us to be able to plug the revenue shortfall. So some tough decisions, have to be made at some point.
Budgets are supposed to be negotiated. They're supposed to be fiercely negotiated. Our system was built with a tension between Parliament and the executive in mind. This is what is supposed to happen with budgets. They're supposed to be hotly contested. So we must not get stressed that the finance minister cannot get the budget that he or she wants.
at a starting point, a South Africa without a budget is a South Africa that slides deeper into the direction of a banana republic. Your greatest dilemma is that even if you didn't raise VAT, yesterday's reaction when there were delays, court actions and all of that, were already in quantums of billions, indicating that the longer you delay the budget, the more you exacerbate the whole. So we needed to pass a budget today. The second thing that we needed to do was that now we've got to engage on how we amend it. Because the framework is in place, now we can amend it.
Look, no matter how much people can spin it, the reality is that VAT is going to be the order of the day because of the parties that voted for a VAT hike. If you were to listen even to the speech of the finance minister, he was justifying why the VAT hike is there. He was not talking about the VAT hike is off the table, they're going to find other alternatives. He was committing to South African citizens to say VAT is the reality and this is the reason why. So it boggles us as a party to say, why do we have other parties speaking about other commitments? Because if there were other commitments, the Minister of Finance would have spoken about those commitments. So it is a shame that majority of the parties that voted today voted for an increase in VAT.
It's not fair to put all the pressure on National Treasury for economic growth and job creation. Every minister, you get allocated the budget, and you must come with a plan to contribute to with economic growth and job creation. What I can't see now is that those ministers that voted against the budget that was allocated by them by the Minister of Finance, what is going to happen. But for me, what illustrates today that the GNU is not dependent on just one party.
So they've given Treasury 30 days to come back to report to them on alternatives. 30 days is too long because on the 1st of May, if the budget is not amended, then the tax hikes will come into effect. So basically within the next week or so, Treasury needs to go back to the Finance Committee and say, here's alternatives to a VAT hike or to the PIT non-adjustment. We think there are very simple options to do so, which can be done, but you need to do so very quickly. 30 days is far too long. So it is messy, to put it politely. It would have been better for Parliament to have made these adjustments before adopting the budget, but it can be done, although it's under very, very severe time constraints.
As the issue of the VAT is unresolved, we came out as the SACP to reject the budget even before it could be unveiled, because we were opposed to an increase in value-added tax. The minister made the statement that it is the top brackets that contribute more in paying the VAT. The reality is that everybody who buys any good or a service on which VAT is charged pays the VAT, and this includes the poor. And by the poor, we include the people who receive social grants. So you receive a social grant and the VAT increase will take its share.